let's tune into that breath. Let's find those inhales and those exhales. Maybe deepening the inhale and finding a bit more stretch and expansion through chest and rib cage. Maybe lengthening and slowing down slightly your exhale, beginning to find that engagement through those deeper abdominal muscles. And then noticing any effects emotionally as you breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in can give you kind of that energy to approach things. Breathing out can give you sometimes that calmness or that letting go, sometimes that engagement, stability and grounding. We'll take about 3 more cycles of breath. And then let's take some gentle movements through the neck, lowering the chin towards the chest on the exhale, and then drawing the right ear towards the right shoulder, and then back through center, and switching sides, moving from side to side. Find your own rhythm. And then maybe adding a little movement through your chin when your right ear is towards your right shoulder, drawing the chin towards the shoulder, and then lifting it slightly towards the ceiling, any amount that is available that feels right. And then whenever you feel ready, come back through center and take it over to the other side. And as your left ear drops towards the left shoulder, find those kind of half circles with your chin, lowering towards the shoulder and lifting any amount towards the ceiling. Just noticing how that movement affects and feels in the neck and the shoulder. And then gently bring the chin back towards your chest. Pause there. Draw the shoulder blades towards one another and then down the back. Feel the space in the back of the neck. And as you inhale, just lift your chin, level it with the floor, looking straight in front of you. Eyes will open if they were closed, and then reach your arms wide, palms facing forward, and then squeeze those shoulder blades towards one another. And then as you exhale, bring your arms in front of you. Your palms might touch. And then let's open, inhale. And then bring your right arm over the left on your exhale, but keep your arms extended, so keep reaching through those fingers. And then open up, inhale. And do the same other side, left arm over right as you exhale. And then let's open, inhale, turn your palms to face back, and then grab a hold of your chair or the other hand, and then send your chest forward. Squeezing shoulder blades, noticing that stretch through fronts of the shoulders. Take a full inhale. And take a long exhale. With your next breath in, release those hands, reach them tall. And then as you breathe out, lower your right hand down, side stretch. Come back through center, breathing in. And take it over to the other side and breathing out. Coming back through center, inhale, interlace those fingers overhead, turn your palms, give yourself a whole stretch here. Fingers, palms, wrists, down the arms, armpits, ribs. Another full breath in. And then on your exhale, we're going to round. Send your palms forward, push them away from you as you round your spine, chin to chest. Move like that 2 more times, lifting up, maybe a little bit of a back bend if that feels right. And exhale, rounding chin to chest. Push that back body back. Inhale again, reach up. And exhale, round the spine. Find that neutral spine, open up your arms, and then keep them wide, shoulder height, and then begin to rotate through your arms. So we're going to start with the palms. So first, palms face forward, and then turn your palms to face down, and then to face back, so your thumbs are pointing down, and then see if you can continue some rotation as if you were trying to get your palms to face up again. So your thumbs would be pointing towards the space behind you. Okay, so notice the movement is not only the wrist, but it goes up elbow and shoulder. Okay, and then turn again, turn forward, and then palms to face up, and maybe there's a little bit more rotation available, and it's almost like your pinky finger lifts up towards the ceiling as your thumb tries to go down and palms face back. So that amount of rotation or that kind of movement a few more times. Turning, palms face back, thumb points down, and then maybe palms begin to turn up any amount. And then turn as you flip the palms to face up, and maybe some to face back, thumb pointing down. One more time. You can also do this with your arms a bit lower if that feels better. And then we'll end with the palms facing forward. Spread your fingers, take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, bring your right arm across the chest, bend your elbow, use your left hand to draw that elbow in. And see if this feels nice after those arms out. So see if you can get a nice stretch through the shoulder blade. Relax that right shoulder down. Breathing in and breathing out. And then let's open up those arms. Inhale. And let's do the same on the other side. Left arm comes across, bend that elbow, and use your right hand to help that elbow come a bit closer, getting that stretch through that left shoulder blade. And drop that left shoulder, let it relax some. Breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, reach your arms out and then gently release them down by your side. Allow them to hang heavy, wiggle your fingers. If it feels good to rotate wrist, do that. And then give your shoulders a little roll gently up and down, and again up and down, and one more time, up and down. Come to rest your hands on your thighs, and as you breathe in, lift your heels, and as you breathe out, lower those heels. And then again, lift, inhale, maybe you're coming onto tiptoes, and lower, exhale. Remember about engaging through the legs as you lower, lift, and pushing down through those heels, exhale. Now as you inhale, lift your heels and only lower your left heel. So you're on the ball of that right foot or toes, and let's go for some circles through that right hip. And if you can tuck your toes some, give your toes a stretch also. And then switch direction. And then come back onto those toes or ball of the foot and get an extra stretch through the ankle and the top of the foot, sending those toes under the chair, any amount. And if it feels okay, pressing through the top of the foot as you send your right knee forward. And then make a point of lengthening through your spine. So reaching tall, shoulders down. Full breath in and full breath out. And then coming onto that right heel, extend the leg all the way out in front of you. And with the leg extended, we're just going to point and flex that right foot. So when you're ready, point as if you were trying to get your toes onto the floor, and then flex, drawing the toes towards your shin. And then point and flex and point and flex. And now keep it flexed. With your next inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, hands to your hips and find a forward fold. We'll work here for 3 cycles of breath. And by working, I mean you keep extending through your spine. You keep pressing through that right heel and drawing the toes towards the shin. Keep your face relaxed. Maybe you even send your elbows up or back behind you, squeezing those shoulder blades some. Opening through the chest. One more breath. With your next breath in, we're rising up, reaching your arms tall. And then as you exhale, finding a twist towards your left side. Left hand comes back behind you, right hand crosses over. Keep your shoulders over your hips. Keep the crown of the head reaching tall. And then draw your right shoulder blade slightly back and down. So chest stays open. Another breath in. And another breath out. As you inhale, come back through center, reach your arms up. And then on your exhale, hands to your hips. Engage that right hip flexor quad and see if you can lift that leg without leaning back too much. And then bend that knee and plant the foot. Come back to your original seat. Rest your hands on your thighs, give your shoulders a little roll. And then as you are ready, take those heels up, breathing in. And this time your right heel is going to lower. And then staying on the ball of that left foot and finding your hip rotations on this side. And again, maybe those toes are getting a little wiggle, stretch too, or switch direction. And then use your next inhale to bring yourself back through center and then get that extra stretch through the top of that left foot. Maybe toes go back some under the chair. Maybe you press down through the top of the foot. Knees are still pointing forward, and then don't forget about the rest of your body here. So make it active. Keep reaching up through the top of the head. Take another breath. And then let's come onto that left heel, extending the leg all the way out in front of us. And let's find those, they call them nerve glides here. So pointing and flexing through the foot and see if you can feel it through the whole leg. So point through those toes and then flex and point and flex and point. And flex. Keep it flexed, and with your next inhale, reach your arms up. And then on your exhale, hands to your hips. And once again, find any amount of folding forward that comes from your hips. So it's that hip flexion. It's not a flexion through the spine. So you could think here about your sit bones kind of going all the way back behind you. That tailbone lifting some. And then draw the belly towards the spine. So don't overdo it. Talking about balance earlier, right? So we don't want to go to the extremes. We want to find the place where we can play around with a bit of both. So you want to engage and reach, but you don't want to arch too much. You want to keep some core engagement here. Draw the belly towards the spine. And then some softness through the face. As you breathe in, let's rise up, reach your arms tall, inhale, and then exhale, right hand behind you, left hand crosses over, finding your twist towards the right side. And once again, keeping that chest open. So if you know that you tend to draw that left shoulder forward and you're finding that little rounding, see if you can draw that left shoulder back and down. Another breath in. And another breath out, nice. And then as you inhale, coming back through center, arms can lift. And on your exhale, hands to your hips. And then again, engaging through that left leg, quad. And then press through the heel, lift that leg. Try not to change too much the spine. And then bend that knee and plant your foot. Nice job. As you breathe in, your arms will lift. And then as you breathe out, interlace your fingers and bring the hands to the back of your head. Open up those elbows, breath in, broaden chest. And then as you breathe out, send your right elbow towards your left knee. And inhale, come back through center. And then send your left elbow towards your right knee. Inhale, come back through center. And one more time each side. And then back through center, reach your arms tall, and on your exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Inhale, back through center. And other side, exhale. Inhale, center. And then on your exhale, arms wide and all the way down by your side. So let's grab a hold of the strap for a moment. We'll do a little bit of work with those shoulders. So we're going to start with those hands narrow on the strap, so shoulder width or so. Okay. And then your kind of work here is to keep that strap pulled, tense. So you've got that pulling action through your hands, left hand to the left, right hand to the right. And then try to draw your shoulder blades towards one another and down the back. Okay, so already work here, your arms are shoulder height more or less. And then we're going to add movement through those arms. So not movement through the spine or the rest of the body. So as you breathe in, lifting those arms, any amount that is available, keeping your hands on the strap and keep pulling on that strap. And then as you exhale, lowering those arms as much as is available without changing the position of your spine. And then again, keep pulling on that strap, arms lift. There might be some restriction on the height of the arms, that's fine. Go where you can go. And then exhale, lower. Again, inhale and lift. And exhale and lower. Slow things down. Inhale, lift for a count of 3, 2, 1, up. And then for a count of 3, lower. 3, 2, 1, and down. And now with your next inhale, we're going to broaden a bit more that space between the hands. So don't take it all the way wide or as wide as you can. Kind of go halfway. So maybe a bit wider than shoulder width. Okay. Tensing that strap once again between your hands. And now as you widen your hands, you've got to pull a bit more. There's a bit more effort trying to keep that strap tense. So notice that. And then again, shoulder height with your arms. And we're going to do that same movement. As you breathe in, lift. And you might be able to take your arms a bit higher now that the hands are wider. But just see where you're at. And then lower as you exhale. And then working on slowing things down, which will mean you've got to find a bit more engagement and you resisting the pull of gravity. Lifting as you breathe in and lowering as you breathe out. And take a break anytime. And then again, inhale and lift. Keep pulling on that strap. And exhale and lower. And one more time, see if you can really slow it down. Lifting. You might be halfway up now and keep going up. Maybe 3/4. And then maybe now you're all the way up. And then to lower again, slowly. Keep pulling on that strap. You're controlling the movement here. Keep your shoulders down. Maybe you're halfway. Now 3/4. And all the way down. And now take a break. Let the strap rest on your thighs. Let your hands rest on your lap for a moment. Close your eyes and notice any effects on those shoulders, on those arms, anywhere else in the body. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then maybe notice the sensation kind of dwindling or changing some. Take another breath in. And take another breath out. And then opening eyes. And then turn your palms to face up and give your fingers a little wiggle. And then draw your fingers all the way into your palm. Wrap your thumb around them. And just give yourself a little squeeze here. Really squeeze those fists. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And now as you inhale, stretch your fingers all the way out. Find as much space between them as you can. Feel a stretch through your palm. Take another inhale. And exhale. And now soften again your fingers, maybe a little wiggle. And then turn your palms and grab hold of your strap once again. So this time we're going to go as wide, not as wide as we can because that might be a bit too much, but quite wide with your hands, right? So now extra challenge now to keep that strap tense between those hands. So a bit more in that pulling action between your hands. Arms are going to be out in front of you, but now the mobility in terms of lifting and lowering the arms might be a little easier, or it might be a bit bigger. So you might take your arms a bit higher. Just see where you're at. We're going to move the same way. So as you inhale, lifting those arms, you might even take them behind the head if that's available. If not, don't worry. And then as you exhale, keep pulling on that strap as you lower those arms down. Maybe the strap gets to your knees, but don't let your spine round. And then as you inhale again, lift. Keep pulling on the strap. Take your arms as far as they will go, more or less comfortably for you. And then exhale, keep pulling on the strap and lower. Okay. Let's do it 2 more times. Breathing in, see if you can slow things down like we did before. Breathing out. And as always, taking a break anytime. We'll do 1 more. Inhale, really pull on that strap and lift any amount that is available. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly lower, maybe a quarter, halfway, 3/4. Keep pulling on that strap and then all the way down. And then release that strap. You can put it to the side. Take a moment once again, maybe close your eyes, notice any sensations in those shoulders. And then make any adjustments to your posture that might help with those sensations. So again, shoulders down, maybe broaden a bit more through the chest. Draw the belly towards your spine. And then think about lengthening up as you breathe in. And keeping that length as you breathe out. 1 more inhale. And exhale. And then opening eyes, looking forward. And let's work with those legs a bit. We'll let the shoulders rest. So heel to toe your feet out. And then heel to toe your feet back. And then again, take them out. And bring them back. And now take them out and keep them there. Draw those knees back, engage through outer hips and glutes, and then bring your heels slightly in and see if you can come onto the balls of the feet. So take a full breath in here. And now as you exhale, just lower your right heel. And then inhale, lift, and lower your left heel. And inhale, lift, and right heel. And inhale, lift, and left heel. Now as you inhale, lift both heels, keep them lifted. Take a full breath in, grow tall. And then as you exhale, lower both heels down to the mat. And bringing those feet back to hip width, heel to toe. And then extend your legs all the way out, both of them at the same time, heels sliding forward, toes drawing in. And then take a full breath in here and a full breath out. So last week we were talking about, lifting the leg from that seated position on the floor. So you could try doing the same thing here, which means there's less flexion through that hip. So there might be a little bit more availability to lift the leg. So you could hold onto the seat of the chair with your hands. That would be like putting your hands on the floor when we were doing this in that seated position. Or you could bring hands to your hips, whatever feels best to you. But then press down through your left heel, and then keeping your spine as is, keeping your legs as they are, you just want to try and lift your right leg any amount. There you go. And then exhale and lower. And then your left leg any amount. Exhale and lower. You want to try and avoid leaning back too much. Okay, so keep that torso open. Again, right leg rises. Push through the heel. Exhale, lower. And left leg, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Let's do one more each side. Inhale, right leg, any amount. Don't worry if it doesn't lift very high. Lower. And left leg. And lower. Nice job. And then from here, bring those heels back in, bending your knees. Take a full breath and reach your arms tall. And then find some space between your feet and your knees as you fold forward. Arms reach forward, or they can come to your thighs, dropping the head if that's comfortable. Hands to your shins, and as you breathe in, halfway lift, inhale. As you breathe out, fold forward. Now as you breathe in, halfway lift, stay there, right arm by your ear, reach it forward, send your sit bones back. And as you exhale, just lower your right hand down. Left arm by your ear, inhale, reach it forward, palm is facing in. Exhale, lower, hand to shin. One more time each side, right arm reaches forward, gaze down, back of the neck stays long. Exhale, hand lowers. Left arm reaches forward, inhale. And exhale, hand lowers. Let your spine round, let the head drop. You might hold onto opposite elbows and give that torso a little sway from side to side. Maybe an open mouth exhale, breathing in. And breathing out. One more breath. And then we'll make our way up slowly. Maybe hands come to your thighs. Support your spine, chin to chest. And then once the spine is lifted, head lifts. And just take a moment to let things settle if they got a little hazy or you saw stars. That's what happens to me sometimes. And then bring those feet back to hip width. And we're going to make our way up to stand. So plant your feet, and we'll do it 3 times like we usually do. Work those quads and get those strong quads. Reach your arms in front of you or maybe by your ears. Bring your weight into those feet. Inhale, sit bones leave the chair. Exhale, sit bones return to the chair. Get your shoulders over hips. And then again, moving forward and up. And coming back onto that chair. One more time, just like that. Breath in, coming forward and up. Nice job. And then breath out and releasing back down. Now with your breath in, we're coming forward and up, and we're going to stay here. I'm going to add something to this chair pose. So this, we call it full chair. And now we'll go into a half chair, which means that your legs stay where they're at, but your torso comes closer to your knees and your arms come behind you, reaching back. Okay, so see if you can do this 2 more times. No change in the legs. Torso lifts, arms lift. Torso lowers, arms reach back. Nice job. And one more time. Inhale, full chair. And exhale, half chair. Now as you breathe in, come into your full chair and then all the way up to stand. Straighten legs, reach your arms tall, give yourself a nice body stretch. And then as you exhale, lower your arms all the way down by your side. All right, those quads worked quite a bit in these last few moments. So let's give them a stretch actually. So we can do it from a standing position. So remember your quad stretch. It's this one, right, where we bring the heel towards the glute. And we've got a few options here. We can do it with a hand. So I'll show you a few. We can do it this version. If this works for you, remember, use the other hand as support on your chair because you're kind of working with balance here. Strap option. Foot into the strap, and then the strap comes over that same side shoulder, right? So kind of sack of potatoes here over your shoulder. And then another one is using the chair. So you could use the seat of the chair. Just make sure you can use it in a way that feels supported. And then you bring the shin of the leg that you're going to stretch onto the chair. And this might be enough. You might stay here. Let me come sideways. You might stay here, or you might work the heel towards the glute. So keeping the knee on the chair, that helps you with the balance component. You draw the heel in. If you feel balanced too, you could try and reach the foot with your hand also. And all along, your knee is still on the seat of the chair. Okay, so a few options there to kind of play around with. Sometimes you don't even need to bend the knee that's on the chair, just by resting the shin on it and kind of leaning back a bit, you already get that stretch. So remember, when we're stretching one area of the body, there's usually the antagonist, the opposite side, right? So if we're stretching quads and hip flexors, the opposite is glutes, hamstrings. So what you want to do is engage glutes and hamstrings, push forward, and then you'll get that extra stretch. And sometimes you don't even need to do all these other things, or bend the knee, reach for the foot, and all of that. You already get a stretch just by engaging opposite muscles and pushing the hips forward. So play around with it a bit. I'm going to do the standing version just with my hand, but remember, do the version that works for you. We'll start with the left leg. So bending that left knee, reaching for the foot, maybe with your strap or your hand. And then again, so that engagement through the glute, and push the hips forward, draw the knee back. Okay, and see if you can feel some space appearing in the front of the left hip, and that stretch through the quad. And the quads, group of muscles, and quite a big muscle group, right? So there's different areas to it. So some of us will feel it more closer to the knee, maybe center, maybe up around hip flexor, hip. So just notice. Take a full breath in, and take a full breath out. One more inhale. And exhale, releasing, taking a moment, wiggling those toes. If you used your hand and you were gripping onto the foot, give your fingers a little wiggle. And then whenever you're ready, take it over to the other side. So that right knee now is going to be the right quad, hip flexor, bending the knee. Maybe it's on the chair, maybe it's in the air. Maybe you strap, and if you're using your strap, remember it's the same side, the same shoulder. And sometimes what people do also is, the difference between an active and a passive stretch, right? So an active stretch would be without using your hands, so just using the glute and the hamstring to draw the heel in, and then pushing forward to try and get that stretch through that hip. And sometimes you start with an active stretch just to get that activation, and then you add the hand or the strap, and then you've got the activity already there, and then the passive part takes you in a bit deeper if needed. Wherever you are, breathing in, again, push the hips forward, squeeze through the glutes, see if you can feel that stretch. And then whenever you're ready, release it. Okay. If you're standing at the chair, come to the back of the chair, and then let's find that downward facing dog, just resting the hands on the back of the chair and walking those feet towards or away from the chair. A little bend in those knees, and give the whole spine a good lengthening here. So I don't know if you noticed it also, anytime we try and stretch the front of the body, any part of the front of the body, the back body will close up some. So it's usually a good idea, and your body naturally sometimes will just want to do that, to then open up the back body. So that's what we're doing right now. And so see if you can feel a bit more space in that lower back, stretch through the glutes and the hamstrings. One more breath. And then let's use the next inhale to walk those feet back towards the chair and come back to that standing position. Let your arms dangle by your side. Give your shoulders a little stretch here, a little roll. And then see if you can bring your arms behind you. So I'll just show you from the back. So palms are going to be facing back with the thumbs facing or pointing towards us. And then just bring the arms behind you and cross them. And then see if you can get or your wrists or your forearms, or you can walk your hands to opposite elbows. And then once you've got that, whatever you have, find a good grip and then push that lower back into your arms. So again, notice here the engagement through that lower belly. Take a full breath in. You might find a stretch through your shoulders too. And a full breath out. And then release. Keep your arms as is, so palms facing back. And then see if you can find now the opposite way of binding. Okay, so maybe the opposite arm is in front or on top. And then again, get a grip, and then once again take a full breath in, and then push that lower back, that back body, that spine into your arms. One more inhale and exhale, and then release. Okay, let's come down to the mat, and I'll meet you there in a seated position, and bring your block with you. So legs are going to be in front of us, feet planted, and let's start with the knees wide and the feet wide, knees bent. And I'll meet you there in a forward fold. So you could use your block, plant it between your feet, and then hands onto the block, and then just round your spine forward and down. Keeping your feet planted, sit bones planted, and just getting a rounding through that spine. Maybe the chin drops towards the chest. And this pose can also be a good example of that balance between, striving and surrendering. So there is that strive to get your hands away from you, to reach as far forward as is available. But then you've got to find that surrender, so that once you've got that stretch, you can really be into it and let your body kind of adapt and settle in. So a good place to practice some of that. So if you already did the reaching, see if you can now do the surrendering, the staying, for about 5 cycles of breath. And then with your next inhale, walk your hands back towards you. Bring that block and put it to the side. We'll use it a little bit more in a moment. And then bring your feet to hip width. Knees are bent, and we're coming all the way down onto the ground. Your arms can reach in front of you. And then slowly, with that active core, chin to chest, lower that spine onto your mat. And try to really control the lowering of that upper back and the head. And then once the whole spine is down, bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. Maybe an open mouth exhale as that back body now is completely supported. And then we'll move into a supported bridge pose. So when you're ready, plant your feet. Feet hip width, more or less under those knees, your arms by your side. As you breathe in, lifting your hips. And then as you breathe out, lowering those hips. And then again, breathing in, lifting your hips. Option here of keeping your hips lifted and then lifting your right heel. And then lowering your right heel. And then lifting your left heel. And then lowering left heel. So lifting only the heel, so the ball of the foot is still on the ground. So let's do it again. Inhale, right heel lifts, ball of the foot on the ground. Careful with cramps. Exhale, lower. Left heel lifts. And exhale and lower. Now take another breath in. And on your exhale, lowering those hips all the way down to the mat. Now grab a hold of your block in one hand, and with your next inhale, lift your hips, and then slide that block under the sacrum. Find the height of the block that works for you. Make sure that the hips, that lower back is feeling okay. And then settle in. Maybe hands rest on your belly. Maybe you keep your feet where they are, or you begin to walk them away from you only if that feels okay on that lower back. Keeping the gaze down the midline, making sure that the back of the neck is long, chin towards your chest. And then you can make some small adjustments to your shoulders and shoulder blades if you wish. You could slide that left shoulder slightly underneath you, left shoulder blade towards center, and then the same thing with your right shoulder, slightly underneath you, and the right shoulder blade will come a bit closer to the left one. And if your eyes are open, you might be able to see the rise and fall of your chest, your rib cage, your belly. And let's take 3 more breaths. If your legs are out, begin to walk your feet back towards your block. Getting those ankles more or less in line with your knees. Your hips are still on the block, or your sacrum is still on the block, and then with your next inhale, lift it off the block and use your hand to just slide that block to the side. Slowly as you can, so even like half speed. Send those sit bones towards your heels and begin to lower from that upper back, mid-spine, lower spine, sacrum, and all the way down onto your mat. From here, take a moment. Don't do anything. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. And then very gently, just draw your right knee towards your chest. Your hands could come behind the thigh or around your shin. Keep pressing the lower back into the mat. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. And then switch, plant your right foot and bring your left knee in towards your chest. Press that lower back into the mat. Breath in. Breath out. And another breath in. And then as you exhale, lower that left foot down to the mat. Bring your feet a bit wider, shoulder width, or maybe to the outer edges of your mat. And then let your knees rest against one another. You could stay here, or if you need a little resetting through your hips and lower back, you could find some gentle window wiper poses with your knees, allowing your knees just to go slightly towards the right and then towards the left. Nothing like too exaggerated here, just resetting that back body after that bridge pose that is a back bend, and it can compress lower back. So just giving that lower back a little attention and those hips. And then if you're moving, bring yourself back through center and then find the most comfortable position for you today or at this point, whether it's here with those knees bent, whether it's lengthening those legs all the way out. And remember, if your legs are lengthened out, sometimes the lower back benefits from rolling a blanket or a pillow just behind your knees and resting like that. Of course, you could always come onto your side body, or you can always find a seat. Taking a few moments here now in Shavasana, finding quiet and stillness. Nothing else to do right now. And then as always, you could stay if you've got some time you wish to. If not, tune into your breath. And with a bit more of a deeper or longer breath, begin to move your fingers, move your toes, your ankles, your wrists. Any other movement that feels good, maybe even stretching those arms overhead, reaching your fingers away from toes. And then eventually, if you were on your back, you might come onto the side body. Hug those knees towards your chest and support your head in your arms. Make yourself here into a tiny little ball and give yourself a breath in. And an open mouth exhale. And then planting those hands. We'll make our way up. We'll find a comfortable seat to end practice in. Hands can come to your heart, finding that lifted spine. And acknowledging here the practice itself. And then ourselves for practicing. Then those that have practiced with us, not only today, any other time. And then all those who make it possible. And we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.